Hello everyone, welcome back once again to Varagist HQ. Still on disbursement matter, today remain the 15th day of November 2025, and we have another update for you coming from the anonymous financial advisor. So he actually posted one yesterday which we shared on this platform, and he is out again with the part 2 of it. Please do well to pay attention to it. You will definitely get something from it. It's educating. The session is educating. It might be a little bit lengthy, but you will get something from it. We learn every day. Like they say, no knowledge is a waste. So please pay attention to him. You will definitely get something from this session. We'll be right back. But remember, this is Varagist HQ. If you have not subscribed to this channel, do us a favor to subscribe. Click on the notification bell so that anytime I drop update, you will be notified. Subscription is free of charge. Thank you and remain blessed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, grand community, depending on where you're getting this V-Note. I come your way again this 15th day of November 2025. I am, as usual, your anonymous financial advisor. As promised, today is the second edition. Today is the second edition of our V-Notes, and it's titled Life After Disbursement Part 2. And the topic of our discussion today is contents versus containers. I'll go straight to give you an analogy. If I have large quantities of oil, maybe red oil, to distribute to people, and I make the announcement tomorrow, everybody should come with his container and come and collect 25 liters of oil. And then you that are listening to me now, you come with your 20 liters container. Another person comes with 25 liters. Another person comes with 10 liters, and in that order, just like that. Now, I start distributing. I give the person who has 25, or the people who have 25 liters container. I pour their own oil, they thank me and go. And then you that has 20 liters, I will just give you 20 liters. I mean, you that has 20 liters container, I cannot give you more than 20 liters, except I want to waste 5 liters. The same thing with the person who had 10 liters. I can only give him 10 liters of oil in his 10 liters container. And if I decide on pouring 25 liters into it, I'll end up wasting 15 liters, right? Good. Why I made this analogy is this. We are expecting something huge. Your brain is the container. What is coming is the content. Now, I want to ask you, have you expanded your brain enough? Have you expanded the container enough to accommodate what is coming? That is a very serious question. Have you expanded, just like the container and the oil that I talked of? You that has 20 liters, the only way you can collect your whole 20 liters is that you go and expand your container. This case, you don't expand it by putting fire to blow on it. You just go out and look for extra 5 liters, right? The person who has 10 liters container will just go and look for extra 15 liters. That is it. So I'm asking you, you know what is coming. You know what you are expecting. You know what to subscribe for. If what you subscribe for comes the way we did it, or the way we are expecting, or even when it is halved or whatever, is your mind big enough to accommodate it? Remember the Bible, Jesus himself in Luke 5:37 talked about you do not put new wine in old wine skin. If you do, the old wine skin will burst and the wine will spill. But it's better you put new wine in a new wine skin. And in doing that, you preserve both the wine and the wine skin. Consider it. Do you have the new wine skin that you want to pour this new wine into? Okay, I go ahead with some other illustrations. I promised you yesterday that I'm going to tell you a story about an experiment conducted by some whites, some people, sometime in the US. These people came together, contributed money, and then they raised 10 million US dollars. And they went to some village and distributed this to some wretched people, $1 million each. They said, take, this is your money, use it for whatever you want. But in a year's time, we're going to come back to check how far you have gone. And then they gave them each person. Then in a year's time, they went back, and what did they see? 3 out of the 10 people were already dead. What happened? Controversies relating the sharing of the money. Some were kidnapped and killed, some were murdered. Then 2 people again were in court. Their spouses, somebody had, okay, let's divorce so that I can get part of my own money. Then 3 other people were already bankrupt, meaning they already gone back to begging. Then only 2 people were doing something a little bit reasonable with the money. Have you seen? The issue is that we are not trained in managing money. All we learned about, even in the school, nobody does money 101. The way you do GST 101 or 102 or whatever. Nobody trains you on money management. What you do is, or what you learned from your parents, which most times are in just haphazard. And who taught your parents? Nobody. They just learned on their own, and everybody just keeps managing. And like I said, I don't know whether I mentioned it yesterday. My mentor, Robert Kiyosaki, yes, I did. He said that giving somebody a huge sum of money to manage without any training on money management is like giving somebody a loaded gun, somebody who has no training in gun management or in using gun. He can use the gun to wound himself or to wound other people, even to kill himself or kill other people. So that is why I'm coming around with all these voice notes. I want to give you also another analogy. All these things are meant to help you let this idea sink into you. There's this story I read somewhere about a poor farmer in a village who was visited by the king. And the king said, you know what, today I'm going to make you a rich man. The king gifted him with a large bag of money. In this case, let's say it's 50 million naira. Now, after 1 week, the man returned the money to the king. What happened? He said he was not able to sleep for this whole 1 week. He'll keep the money in his drawer. Once more noise will happen, he will get up. Okay, he'll carry the money, put under his pillow, and then small thing will happen. He will jump up. Children will be playing outside, and maybe they touch his door. It will think armed robbers are coming. Somebody probably will play a knockout somewhere, and he will jump up. The armed robbers have come. You understand? This is what happened until after 1 week, he returned the money to the king. He has not developed the mind to manage the money. Now imagine if he had an idea that he could also drop this money with the king and be collecting it as at when he needs it. What if, again, he had the knowledge that there is maybe a money lender in town that he can now lend the money and be earning interest and be collecting anyone he needs, small amounts. Somebody who has built some security for the money and all this. So all these things are what I want us to have an idea, develop a wealthy mindset. Now, I want to give you another statement. I read it in The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. It says, a fool and his money are soon parted. What does this mean? A fool on this side and his money. He said they are soon parted. To part means to part from each other, means to go away from each other. And he says, a fool and his money. The fool will soon lose all his money. And then I want to illustrate this statement with somebody I know, somebody, a real human being. I will not call his name, but I know whenever I think of this statement, he is the one that comes to mind. What happened? A few years ago, and there was something we were supervising for my boss. He purchased some assets, and we were just like supervisors. And this man was the principal agent. Okay, let's call his name Mr. John. That's not his real name anyway. Mr. John was the principal agent in this case, and he made so much money. But the very first time we went to his house, he had a very cute, very small but cute bungalow of maybe 4 rooms or thereabout. And he had only one motorcycle. And when this business started, he started making money. This man went haywire. He started buying vehicles. One of them, he bought 19 point something million. That's some like 2, 3, 4 years ago. Another one he bought this one, Toyota Highlander, this one. And then he didn't end there. There was a space in his compound. That first time we went, he now cleared that space and put up another building, a bungalow. But this time around, he made it so classy. He bought the television in his sitting room is like the size you see in viewing centers, which he bought with millions of naira. He installed solar with millions of naira. The watch he bought over ₦1 million naira. His phone over ₦1 million naira. And all this, it did not end in his house. In fact, the AC in his house, the horsepower, I don't know. But if you go there, if you want to stay there for 30 minutes, you better wear a sweater. Now, it didn't end inside his house. He started buying cars and started dashing people. In fact, the problem he created, for him to manage it, he had to spend more money. For instance, not just that he bought cars for his pastor, he bought another one for the daughter who was just doing youth service. He bought for his brother. He bought for his sister. He bought for a shrine person. Somebody who is managing, I think is the chairman of herbal medicine dealers in the state. What happened was that the people he was owing before now, which he didn't even pay off, the cost problems that some of them took him to the shrine and he bulldozed his way, bought the vehicle for the shrine man just to quieten everybody. So this is a real human being that we interacted with. In fact, I even spoke with him yesterday. We have a meeting for another thing anyway, tomorrow or next. Now, to cut a long story short, this man squandered all these things and he made either over 300 meter or something like that. But as it is now, I've met him in town on 2 occasions where he came with public transport. It's not that the cars were not there, but obviously he could not afford the fuel. Now I even know that he has sold like 2 of those vehicles. Meanwhile, as this thing was going on, there was a meeting a hotel we used to meet in his village. That man, he told us that this man who owns this hotel was a retiree in one federal civil service. And this man built this small hotel. Every day you will see him there. He will just come and be reading newspaper. He, according to him, the man built it where, it's just his retirement money. And he will just sit there, be reading newspaper. He knows how many rooms were occupied. He knows how many bottles of beer were sold. He knows how many plates of food, and he knows how many meat and all this and all that. So he just does it, sits down, and then he's now enjoying his retirement. But this our man now, Mr. John, not his real name anyway, is he? What we used to talk about it, me and my colleague, what he squandered in less than 2 years is more than enough to build that type of a hotel. I'm just giving you an instance. So that is it. We are talking of developing a wealthy mindset, a millionaire mindset. So with all the stories, I hope you have made some meanings. So I want to ask, what does millionaires do? How do you develop your mindset? Well, first of all, I want to say just short and simple that the best way, or what majority of all the millionaires do, is that they try to create value. That's all. They try to create value either by having a product that people can buy and pay money, or creating a service that people can come, patronize them, and pay money. This is just the summary of what many millionaires do. So when what we are waiting for lands, start thinking in that direction. Remember the Bible story I told you? You don't put new wine in an old wine skin. Now, this is about 15 minutes. Okay, another thing we need to know about this, we on in one of our subsequent in our subsequent this will now shed more light on this creation of value. But for now, let's stop at this. Let me give you another thing you need to know: assets versus liability. I learned also in from my mentor Robert Kiyosaki that, look, there's a definition of assets and liability that we need to know. It's not the normal professional definition by an accountant too. So please don't get me wrong. This is a definition by wealthy people. What is an asset? An asset is that thing that gives me money, while liability is that takes money away from me. Very simple and short. Even nursery school students pupils can define this. Asset is what gives me money. Liability is what takes money away from me. So when what we're waiting for comes and you want to do something, consider an asset that gives money, drops money in your pocket. Now remember that some liabilities that are permissible. For instance, you can't have one bag. You know what is one bag now? You can't have one bag and you'll be living in a face me, I face you. Where if you're making a call, somebody is passing by your window and is dropping and you're calling millions. No. You can't have one bag or even 500 meter and you are joining keke and somebody is calling you and you are talking in keke and you are pronouncing money. No, now. So please, there are yes, a vehicle in this case is regarded as liability because it takes money from you, but a vehicle is necessary. A functional, moderate vehicle is necessary. A functional or a nice building in a nice, secure environment is an ideal. Yes, the building is an asset in the professional terms, but in this definition, it is a liability because it doesn't generate money for you, but it is permissible. So what I'm saying is consider assets that things that give you money, and allocate a greater piece apart from the main project that you are expected to do. Consider the one that is remaining. consider creating asset. Business is an asset. A business when you create value. We will talk about that later when we talk about your plan, your business plan, your personal vision. No, we'll talk about that. We'll go into detail, but just consider this. When you create a business that people come to patronize you, and then look at all the billionaires in the world. What do they do? Let me just give you the Dangotes, the Otedolas, the Adelekes, the Kocharis, for instance, the Innocent. What do? They create something that people patronize them for. So that's just about that. So when this money comes, find a way to create value. Find a way to create value by producing something or rendering a service and be exceptional about it. Don't rely on chop. Some people have made some calculations of how, even if they live for the next 50 years, what they will be spending even if they spend 1 meter every day for the rest of their life, for the next 50 years, the money will still be enough. No, this money is not given to you to just chop. Remember, we are privileged though. We are very privileged. Some people who started this race with us are no more now. Even those who are with us now, some of them have fallen by the wayside. Personally, I have a distant cousin who swore to me that, look, I did this thing on that same. I had clusters. I paid money. I spent money. I did this. I did that. And in fact, I am no longer interested. I said, Kai, brother, it's not good to fall by the wayside now. He said, even if he has 200 naira, he will rather use that money and go and dash somebody a beggar, and the person will say thank you, and that's all. Or he would just tear it and know that he tore the money by himself. Even me in my office, I have told some people who are well-to-do, but people who can afford 10,000 to subscribe, 20,000 or more to subscribe, but they said they are not interested. So we that are following up and we have remained steadfast from the beginning till now, we are privileged though. It is not by power. So when this money comes, it's not for you to just keep it and chop. Remember, if you keep this money and chop, and you don't help people around you, there's trouble. They can't even allow you to chop the money. So part of the things or part of the mindset of a millionaire is that he helps people. But he does it with wisdom anyway. He helps people around. He creates value for people around them. He creates value. That is also the mindset of a millionaire. I was going through a video yesterday of how I will share it maybe one of these days, of how do you find happiness. You find out that happiness is not about that you have all the money. You can eat with your family and eat to your satisfaction. Happiness depends on the value you create for people, the number of people, your lives you touch, so that when you are called from this earth, people will have good things to talk of you. God will say yes. Remember, we are all custodians. So this wealth that is coming, this generational wealth that is coming, how do you make it generational? Is it not by distributing it, by excuse me, by making other people benefit from it? So you have to create value for people. You have to help people. We will talk about that. I don't know what this notes to get unnecessarily long. So, but what let me just summarize so that we can wait for tomorrow's own. Expand your content. Expand your container, which this time is your mind, so that to be able to accommodate the content that is coming. Reason like millionaires. How do they reason? Create value for people. Think long term. How many you will help? Let me give you an example. Well, as all these subscriptions were going on, I was already thinking of my own immediate family. We'll talk later more about all these things. I was already thinking of my own immediate family. And my younger ones have already spent small money to subscribe for them. So that when this money comes, it's not like I'm a lone ranger. I'm like a tree in the forest. No, all of them already have their own. All of them have their own. They can stand somehow on their own. With the ones I have, I support them and I give them trainings. I already made up my mind that whenever this comes, I'm going to, the first course I'm going to make is them. I will invite them to where I am now. Just abandon everything you are doing, abandon the money, just come. And we'll spend not less than a day to train them on this money management. All of us are all learning. So I want to end here so that the video to not be so long. But I also want to appeal that there are some people who have more experience than me. Some people even have less years of experience, but when they tell their story, they will touch lives. I want to encourage them to come up and then also give their V notes like this, share their stories. I am also a learner. I will continue to learn. Let me tell you why I'll continue to learn. Yes, I have managed money, my own personal money, not much though. But as a manager in a commercial bank, I've managed portfolios running into hundreds of millions and billions, a few billions. But I have not had as much as let me say one bag. You know what is one bag? Or even 500 meter in my own as my own personal money. At once, I have not had that. So I tell you, I'm learning. I'm learning. Even these things I'm saying, I'm consulting my all the old books. I'm consulting my own book and all other books. I'm trying to piece together my experience. And so when somebody brings his own experience, I also learn from it. So that when this money comes, when this rain falls, I should be able to put it to a good use. As I'm talking to you now, I'm also talking to myself. I'm reminding myself of what I know before. So I want to end it here. I want to thank you for listening. Tomorrow, like I promised, I'm going to do another one. And tomorrow I'm going to focus on safety first. Safety first. The aim is for all of us to get this money, enjoy it, help others, create value for people, build people so that when we leave this earth, people will be happy with us. Our God, who made these things possible, will be happy with us. And then above all, we'll be with Him because that is the ultimate. That's why we are here in this earth. After all these things, this money will not derail us, but rather bring us closer to our Maker. And then at the end of our lives, we'll be with Him. Thank you very much. And wait for tomorrow's V note. I want to say God bless you for listening. Thank you. I remain your humble person, your anonymous financial advisor. Thanks and God bless.